Hi, Professor Wainaina here, your 5-minute teacher on education, childhood, youth, parenting, and all things school. Welcome. As parents, we often underestimate the extent to which our children observe, absorb, interpret, and internalize our world. This underestimation can lead to significant misunderstandings about the impact of our very regular conversations on our children. Children, even from infancy, are far more perceptive and receptive of our conversations and emotions than many of us parents realize. This means that our casual conversations with others around the child, with their subtle gestures and seemingly minor emotional cues that we might dismiss as insignificant, can actually have profound effects on our children's social and emotional development. As parents, we must participate, or we must practice a heightened level of self-censorship in conversations around children. They are watching and they are listening. Research in developmental psychology has consistently demonstrated that infants are remarkably attuned to the emotional states and expressions of their caregivers. Studies have shown that babies as young as a few months old, even though they cannot hear language yet, can read facial expressions, interpret tone of voice, and respond to the mood of the adults in the conversation around them. There was a study conducted by Beatrice de Gelder and her colleagues, and there was another one, I think, done by Anne Fennald, that found that infants are not only capable of recognizing emotions in faces, but also of associating these emotions with specific contexts. This means that a child can discern whether a parent's anger or frustration is directed at them, at another person, or at an external situation, even if they do not fully understand the content of the words being spoken. So, do not assume that because your child cannot speak yet, they cannot pick up what you are saying to someone else. You must always be mindful of the conversations you have with other adults in front of your children. When having conversations with adults, most parents often focus on shielding their children from explicit content like sex or violence, forgetting that many seemingly innocent conversations can also be as harmful, if not more. So what are the categories of conversations you should avoid in the presence of your children? Avoid judgmental conversations containing personal attacks or insults. Most importantly, avoid criticizing people in authority over the child, especially teachers, coaches, house helps, drivers, and relatives. Stereotyping or prejudicial conversations are also a no-go zone. Do not make generalizations about groups of people based on factors like physical appearance, gender, religion, or sexual orientation in the hearing of your child. It also helps to avoid negative conversations full of complaints and negativity and anger and anxiety and conflict. Also, focusing on problems, shortcomings, or negative aspects and expressing excessive fear or anxiety can be very unsettling for children. Personal matters and discussing intimate details of personal relationships, health issues, or financial struggles should also be a no-no, as well as avoiding complex topics or divisive political debates and religious beliefs held by others that you do not agree with. Given the heightened emotional sensitivity and awareness in your children, it is necessary for you to practice emotional self-censorship in your daily interactions. This does not mean creating an artificial or overly sanitized environment devoid of emotion, but rather being conscious of the emotional messages you're sending through your words, gestures, and facial expression. Another important aspect is being more aware of where your child is every time you are engaging in conversation with adults. We mistakenly think that if the child is near you and you can see them, they are safe. Not necessarily. If you are not having a sanctioned conversation, you may be doing more harm than you imagine. Remember, like you take care to protect children from physical injury, you will need to be keen to protect them from what they hear and see in your conversations. It can be equally, if not more dangerous. Finally, this is important. Be ready to stop a conversation at any point if you feel that it is inappropriate for your child. Do not be held back by the need to be polite and allow the things I have mentioned in a conversation in front of your kids. Stop it, even at the risk of offending someone. You are better off with an offended adult than a ruined child. Thank you for your time. See you in the next lesson.